Hey everybody, Terry Bradley here again, simpleswingthoughts.com, week number 8, Swing in the Spring 2015. Now, we're going to talk about the downswing again, and we're going to get a little more into the impact. Okay, so we're going to go from the downswing from A to Z, and then we're going to look at a Tour Pro swing, and then we're going to look at the down the line view on what positions we need to be in on the downswing. Now, there's a 6-second video that I put before this video on this page. Watch that video if you haven't already, because it's the full swing of my still pictures here that I have boxes on. Okay, so let's get to it. Now, in the first picture up here, what we want to look at, we want to make sure that when we get to the top of our backswing, that our first move down is dropping our arms straight down. Okay, if we do that, our right elbow here, which is depicted by this red line here, our right elbow will come straight down and seal into our left side, okay? And then our hips will start to clear automatically as we drop our arms and plant on our left side. And we'll get more into planting next week on the downswing. I just want you all to concentrate on dropping your arms. Now, of course, our head position stays behind the ball. Our head controls all of our weight in everything that we talk about on our golf swing. Okay, now, in the second picture, what we want to focus on is we want to focus on how when our arms drop straight down, I got a little red box here. As our arms drop straight down, again, our elbow is going to start to seal on our left side, and we want to start picking up our right side right here. Okay, now again, all this happens automatically if your head stays behind the ball, because your head controls all the weight shift back to the left on our downswing. Okay, so I'm not trying to throw a lot at you. I'm just simply telling you what goes on when you do the grip and the posture right. Okay, so we're going to focus on our right side now as we go into the rest of our photos. Now, there's one more thing I want you to focus on. When you drop your arm straight down, what happens is your right shoulder stays behind and under your left shoulder until you get to impact. Okay, and that's very, very key when you transfer your weight. Okay, so let's just make a mental note of that as we come through. Now, on this picture here, what we want to look at, let me make this a little bigger. What we want to look at is, okay, this line is my hands dropping. This line is my elbow, again, sealing my right side. Okay, head behind the ball, hips are now starting to clear. Okay, this is where your power is. I know I've had some questions over the weeks of how do I get my shaft more vertical as I'm coming into the slot position, because this is the slot position. Because what happens is if we casted our club out this way, okay, then our club would be more lined up this way, okay? And how you get your shaft more vertical is you got to drop your arm straight down. And I know I sound like a broken record sometimes when I'm talking about head position and dropping your arm straight down, but guys, this is what the golf swing's all about. This is it. Again, look at the video, the 6-second video before this one, if you have any questions, because like I said, this is the fast motion of all the pictures I have up here. So as your arms drop straight down, okay, that shaft will now be vertical. Okay, now you're setting up for power because this is the slot position. Okay, and again, my right shoulder is still behind and under my left shoulder because of the drop. Now let's go to the picture right here. Very, very key picture here. This is where you now store everything for power as you come through the ball. Okay, this is where everything needs to be on these lines that I have here. Again, as you drop the arm straight down, your leverage released posture grip will actually stack your two bones in your right forearm. Stacked in terms of a lateral move, okay, not a horizontal. So make sure you understand that it's stacked going laterally, okay? And I got the cup in my right wrist, ready for power. The shaft is right here on a lag. Hands are now approaching over the ball. Again, my shaft is lagging behind, head behind the ball. Hips are starting to clear. This right here, guys, is where all the action happens. If you can get in this position here, you're going to hit a solid golf shot, okay? Again, as we come into impact, my right shoulder is still a little lower than my left. And when I take this picture back up, I'm going to go back and just highlight my shoulders real quick. Remember, from this box here, notice how See the bag in the background. Notice that my shoulder has not moved off that bag all the way until impact. Okay? Again, the right side basically shuts down. Now people ask, well, why does that have to happen? Because think about it, guys. The only way you're going to get power is your right side has to stop to deliver the power to the left side. Because if your shoulder just kept coming through the ball, there wouldn't be any power release to the left side. It's almost like when you shoot a rubber band. If you pulled a rubber band back and let it go, okay, that rubber band doesn't get power till after it passes your fingers, which is a stabilized force, and then the power is transferred into the sting of the rubber band if you were to hit somebody with it. Okay? In other words, you couldn't shoot a rubber band and then have your hand go with it because there wouldn't be any power release. Same thing with the golf swing. Okay? There has to be a power transfer in the middle of your swing from your right to your left side. It happens automatically. Okay? Don't want to get too technical. I had a comment last week about how simple swings now is getting a little more complicated. It's not, guys. Believe me. All this is happening automatically. Okay? And in address to that question, it was about how in the heck are we going to be able to release our hands if we're in a position right here. Believe me, next week when we talk about the rotation release, you'll see exactly how it happens. Okay, now the last picture down here that we're going to go over, this is an impact. So this is a little bonus coverage for next week as we get into impact. Again, my right side is basically now transferring the energy to my left side. Notice how my wrist now has flattened out because now it's beginning to rotate. I haven't flipped my wrist. You don't flip your wrist. Your wrist will rotate. And let me just give you another quick peek on next week's. You see how in this picture here, you see my club face? See how square it is still toward the target and the ball is gone? Okay? Again, the wrists do not rotate until out here, until you throw your club face at the target. You don't release at the ball. So what happens is you've got plenty of time to release that left wrist. I'm sorry, to release that right wrist, okay? You've got plenty of time to release that right wrist, which is bowed right here, okay, into the ball because it doesn't release until out here. So you've got plenty of time. So when the club hits the ball, the club face stays pretty much square to the target for about, I don't know, six inches or so until you throw the club at the target. It all happens. Believe me, next week we'll get into it more. Okay, so again, head behind the ball, forearms has done its job. My hips have released. I'm hitting into a stiff left side. I got the straight line down here on the left side, all ready for impact. Also, too, in this picture over here, I just want you to see this still picture. There's one position that I want you to understand. This is the slot position, so this position would equal this position up here. Okay, so this position and this position are equal. What you want to see down the line is you want to see that club shaft vertical, but you also want to see that club shaft coming down in the middle of your bicep. Okay, which means that if that happens, that means the club will get out in front of you and you will have a good path into your golf ball. Okay. If you come down too low, in other words, if you're coming back too flat and come around too flat and the shaft is literally on your forearm, that means you're going to get stuck. It means that club's going to get stuck behind you as you come through the ball. Okay, now let me look at the swing video of the PGA Pro here. Okay, and I'm going to back him up a little bit here all the way as he's coming off the ball. So he's coming off the ball. Notice how he comes back. Now I like this swing because he doesn't have a stiff left arm like me, so a lot of us don't have a real stiff left arm, so he bends his left arm a little bit, which is fine. Now what he's going to do is he's just going to drop his arms. See how that drops in one unit? You see when he gets to the top of his backswing, you see how he plants into his left side but he drops his arm at the same time he plants. Okay, and again, we'll get more into that next week. Probably should have gotten to that more this week, but the downswing is has so many moving parts to it, but we'll get into that next week. Okay, so I want you to see how he plants. So as he plants and he comes down together, so he moves everything down together. And as he comes into the ball, again, notice the bowed or the stacked right forearm, curving the right wrist as he comes into impact. Okay, head behind the ball, His hips have shifted automatically. Now he's ready for power. So when he comes into the ball, everything straightens. The right wrist straightens, as you can tell. He hits into the ball. Notice how that club head stays flat, stays square to the target. Now, when that happens, guys, what you're finally now utilizing, you're finally utilizing the natural offset and the true loft of your golf club, okay? Because you're not casting. You're coming down from the inside, and now the club's doing all the work, okay? Again, back to the picture, so his head's staying behind the ball, and we'll get more into that. His feet, see how much power he's getting from the ground from his feet. All it happens right there on the impact. Okay, so hope this helps. Again, watch the 6-second video if you haven't. It's only 6 seconds. It's the full motion swing of my pictures up here on my steel shots that have been marked up. Again, it's 6 seconds. It's the swing. That way you'll see it all together in one package. Okay, Terry Bradley again, simpleswingthoughts.com. Tee him up, hit him straight. We have just finished week number 8. 10 weeks until spring. Hope we're getting it down, guys, because you all should be coming out of the gate in the spring hitting the ball real solid, okay? Again, if you haven't signed up for the 2-6 member premium membership, pre-registration is going on right now. It includes the year-long drawing for Pebble Beach, in addition to other drawings during the year. You have to get signed up on that list, guys. I know a lot of you are signed up on the free list. That's great. I'll keep the content coming, but you have to get signed up on the other 2-6 member Pebble Beach list, because I'm going to start releasing videos just solely concentrating on 2-6 member. Okay, again, team up, hit it straight, take care. Terry Bradley, I will talk to you next week.